Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J Dawg.
Michael, it's good to see you. A big happy birthday to start the show.
Thank you. I'm old. Got a lot of text messages. A lot of people, even my wife, thought I was older than I am. So that's always a good way to start the day.
Why don't you tell the people how old she thought you were?
She thought I was 39 or 38. Definitely not my age. I am 37.
Go with 39. You're not.
No.
But maybe going off of energy levels in Vegas. I don't know. We have a lot to talk about. Me and Mike just came off a Vegas weekend. It's his birthday. He got the best wish he could ever ask for at Taylor Swift's Super Bowl. We're going to NASCAR this week. Like, there's so much going on in our lives.
I think we have to start with our event in Vegas because we went to Vegas. We went to go see U2 at the Sphere, and both of us during the show, we were slightly underwhelmed. And we talked about it all weekend. You even looked up reviews. You're like, oh, what is wrong with us? Like, everybody loved the show, the New Yorker, all this stuff. And I felt underwhelmed afterwards. It was weird. I guess my expectations were a little high, but what did you think?
Listen, don't lump me in with your thoughts. We'll both give our own opinion of the Sphere. One of us is more negative than the other one, and that's okay. Totally valid, because we both sat next to each other and experienced it for real. The Sphere we've been talking about on the Sports Hangover since it opened in, I think, October, and how U2 was the first one in there. Shout out to our longtime listener, first-time meeting Josh, our friend who got us U2 tickets for this special event, got us special U2 tickets, at the front. Middle section, like at the top, but like middle view is like great seats.
Perfect seats.
The Sphere was amazing. Let's start there. Okay. The visuals, the screen, when they used the Sphere, it was awesome. I have some great videos. I have some great pictures. When they use the whole screen and it's moving, it's like amazing. And like in those moments, I'm glad I'm alive in the age of the Sphere. Me and the Sphere are on planet Earth at the same time. Now, U2 was a big part of the show. And me and you were looking around when U2 was singing 80-90% of the songs, and it felt like we were listening to a different language. Like we didn't understand what was going on. And everyone around us is into it. They're singing the songs, and we're not. And for the first time in a long time, I felt too young. And I never feel that anymore, Mike, but it really felt like we were too young to enjoy the actual music of U2.
I never grew up really listening to U2. It was never like a band I would put on. Obviously, we know some of the hits. The hits came on. We
Vertigo, Beautiful Day. We got those.
But then we realized we only actually knew the hooks of the songs. We actually didn't know the entire song. Listen, yes, the Sphere itself, walking up to it, it's amazing. We got there just right on time, too. We didn't even have a chance to grab a beer. The show was starting. I actually heard
today, we got there a little bit late. We missed some things in the 20 minutes between 8 and 8:20. So maybe we have to go back to experience those.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we must have missed a little. We got there right when U2, like, literally, like, people were mad at us because we were, like, walking in their way, getting into the
Well, these people paid $1,000 a ticket. I'm not saying we didn't, but we didn't.
we did. But, yeah, I just think, like, the way we walked out of there, listen, I was a little drunk. I was having a good time. I was just like, I thought I would, I wanted, honestly, to be nauseous when I walked out of the Sphere, and I wasn't. I was like, they didn't utilize the screen. It was off for a lot of it. We're also not U2 fans, so maybe that was a problem. I definitely want to go back because you see the potential in what they can do with the screen. A lot of times the screen was off and it was just bubbles of Bono in the screen, which...
So that's what's worth bringing up is they never tell you that the screen isn't used the whole time, and they rotate a certain amount of songs that they don't have programmed into the screen with visuals, and so they just turn the screen off at those times, and I chose to go to the restroom. It was a perfect time for that. You're waiting for the screen to be used, and there was like a stretch, 5 to 6 songs, maybe a few more, where they weren't using it at all. And then the other parts of it is they're showing the guys, they're showing Bono, they're showing the band like on camera on the screen. And that's a part where like maybe if you're into U2 or you went to see them, you want to see that. I didn't need to see them. Like it was all about the trippy visuals to me. And there were some incredible moments. Like I had them on Instagram. I got a lot of comments. People were asking me, Mike, they're saying, did you get dizzy? And I said, no, I didn't get dizzy.
No, we wish we did.
It is a thing that comes up.
We wish we did. Yeah.
We do recommend the Sphere to people, especially if you like U2.
Yes, if you like U2, it is like your show. Like this is listen, I'm a big rap guy. I go to rap concerts. Usually you hear like 45 seconds of a song, they move on, they play the other hits. U2, we're going to play a 4-minute song. We're going to play the entire song, and then we might do a little monologue after. Definitely, we were a little younger than the demographic. I think we had some like 60-year-olds next to us. To your left, Jeremy. It was definitely like older demographic, but I was glad I saw it. I mean, I could always say we saw U2 at the Sphere.
Saw the first group to ever perform there. That's historic.
Yeah, so it was great, and then we went out after, gambled a little, and we had fun gambling, and I stayed up very late in Vegas, so it was a good time.
Mike stayed up very late. Don't bury the lead. You had a great run at gambling. You always develop these new bets to play. We showed up at our old stomping grounds, O'Shea's, which longtime listeners will jump out of their chair when they hear O'Shea's mentioned. Might have some PTSD for some of our listeners, but we spent a lot of time there like 12, 14 years ago. We went back after the Sphere because you can't gamble at the Venetian. It's like $40 minimum, I'd guess, $50 maybe. And so we got some $15 tables. You did well. You got hot at various times before and after the Sphere. You did really well.
It was great. It was a great weekend. A lot of gambling. We were winning most of our bets on the sucker bets, which our mutual friend would call them, and that's where I was winning 30-1 odd bets. And it had to be $5.
Mike was pulling these in way more than 1 in 30 times.
It felt great to win all that. I will say, I think the complaint about Vegas, how is everybody spending so much money? When I walk by a table that's $25, you don't have much. If your bankroll that whole weekend is $1,000, you can drain $500 in a matter of 2 seconds if you wanted to bet that way. Vegas got too expensive, and it's really hard to find decently priced tables where you just want to hang out. Like, we found a $5 table for a little bit downtown. We bet there for a little while, but ultimately on the Strip, pretty expensive. And they got to change that. We got to go back to some $10 tables here.
Let's talk about the Vegas scouting report. Every casino we walked into, and there was a lot. Our feet were hurting. Our dogs were barking, Mike.
Yeah, dogs were barking, yes.
Please comment. Have you guys heard the term dogs are barking? I told Mike my feet hurt. I told him my dogs are barking after 2 days in Vegas, and he acted like I was a crazy person. He never heard it before.
No one knew. And Aaron showed up. She's like, what are you talking about, Jeremy? No one says my dogs are barking.
So we went in so many casinos. We walked so much, and every single casino was crowded. Everyone had full tables. Like, you had to look for maybe 1 or 2 chairs at most places just to try to get a spot.
It was crazy.
Vegas is doing great. They're charging a lot. Everything is more expensive. You had to charge to park your car, which is kind of a new thing in recent years. So like Vegas is pretty expensive, but it's also not keeping people away. I think post-COVID, people didn't get to travel for a while, and middle America wants their Vegas.
So many people there. It was insane. We went to a ton of casinos. We went off strip, on strip. Yeah. We walked everywhere. We walked probably 20,000 steps a day. I was there 2 days, so I walked even further, but it was packed. And you think like, oh, you hear the recession thing, you hear all this. You're like, there's no way. People are burned. Like, $50 tables are packed full of people just whipping out wads of money to go gamble. Listen, it is insane, and you have to have a lot of money now to go there and gamble. And there's literally nothing else to do but gamble, drink, and eat. Like, I could not figure out anything else to do. My pregnant wife showed up.
Right?
Yeah, shows, but like during the day, it's like me and Aaron are trying to find out, like, what do we do? Like, I don't want to gamble right now. I don't want to do this. Just in a brief moment where I sat down, like she went to go to the bathroom. I'm like, I'll just sit down to this $25 table. Lost $200. Just like that.
Mike.
I know.
Took you so long to earn all that.
I know. So it's just crazy out there.
It can go fast. You buried the lead. Mike was doing so well at Vegas, at Park MGM. He got upgraded to a suite, flew his wife out last minute, and they had this great night. I got replaced. I left. His wife came, got the suite. Tell us about that last night. How special was it in a big-ass room?
I want to say one thing. Me and Jeremy could have had this suite initially. Offered an upgrade right when we got there. Jeremy turned it down. We were going to sleep in a king bed. Jeremy, I don't know how long we've known each other, but we've slept in many, many beds together over the course of 15 years.
So it's going to be the clip that goes viral?
We have never. It is just weird that you turned it down. We were going to be in, and you saw the suite. It was a great suite. It was like a party room. Had a bar, had a TV, had a dinner table, had it all in the suite. Jeremy turned it down. It's like, no, I don't want to sleep with you. It's like, what a shocker. We've slept together in beds many times.
We've slept together a lot. The original reservation had 2 beds. We were going to pay extra on the upgrade to lose one of the beds. It didn't make sense in my head, but you're right. We spent so much time cuddling. We should have just continued it for the sports hangover. There was a great time in Vegas. Great to be home from Vegas. Really felt good getting home, right?
Yeah. It is
and watching some football. By the way, we tried to check out Circa Sportsbook. We wanted to go there for NFL on Sunday for like the AFC Championship game, but it turns out 48 hours is way too much in Vegas. We didn't do that. We tried to check it out. They wouldn't even let us go look at it. You know, the Circa pools.
Yeah,
the
Circa
pools
pool.
at Circa Sportsbook. Right. So we go to what's it called? Stadium Swim, I think it is.
Swim, yeah.
Would have been amazing for the games on Sunday. We tried to go check it out just to scout it out on Friday. Had to pay $25 just to look at it. So didn't love that.
Yeah, Jeremy realized halfway through the trip, it was like 18 hours in. Jeremy's like, 2 days, too much. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
You were done by like 10 a.m. that morning, and you still had until 4 o'clock your flight was, or something like that.
Yeah, 24-hour limit. Like you said, there's not a lot to do except gambling, eating, and drinking. And once you do all those things for 24 hours, I mean, that's plenty. It's
over. Let's talk about the games. We had a lot of games last night. We can start with KC and the Ravens. I was very excited, and I also want to say to all the haters, everybody should be happy that a good team is going to the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift is also going to the Super Bowl. I'm very excited about all this. I think it's great. And I was telling our friend Josh, we were at dinner. I was a little drunk a little bit, and we were arguing about the fact that it was all scripted, and he didn't want to believe me. He didn't want to. I was like, I'm telling you, it's scripted. You don't even have to like worry about the Ravens going. It is Kansas City all day. Kansas City ended up going there. A few thoughts on the game. I thought Lamar looked, like I said in our text thread, I'm like, it looks like he was maybe trying to play in the Pro Bowl where he's trying to do it all himself, like flag football style, like where he's just running up the field, maybe throwing it down the field occasionally, like hoping for things to happen. Weird play calling. And Kansas City just looked strong and like very like accurate on what they wanted to do this game, and not really like free ball it at all like Lamar was trying to do. And I don't know what was going on there, but it was a great game. I loved it.
It wasn't a great second half. I felt like it started off so electric, some crazy plays, and then it was like, oh, it's 17-7 the rest of the way, and that's how it'll be. Maybe 17-10 was the final. 17-14? 17-10 was the final.
Something like,
but they lost. The Ravens played like a team, and Lamar played like a quarterback who had a great regular season and came in with very high expectations, and they were very tight. They were not themselves. You saw it even before the game where Mahomes and Kelsey are getting Justin Tucker's kicking stuff out of the way on the field. It's like they're being the bullies. They're enforcing it. You never felt like the Ravens were the tough number one seed, the best quarterback, the team that runs the ball so well. They had so few runs. Lamar had so many dropbacks. He wasn't scrambling himself. He was missing throws. And all that being said, if Zay Flowers just doesn't fumble and actually goes in the end zone, it is a 17-17 game, maybe going to overtime. And so like it is a one play away from the Ravens winning, but I agree with you that the better team won. The Chiefs looked like the better team. They looked like the better team for 3 weeks now. Remember, Ravens-Texans was 10-10 at halftime even 2 weeks ago. So the Ravens are not who we thought they were. So often we see these dominant regular season teams, and I'm over it. Like, it's all about the playoffs in the NFL. What did the Dolphins accomplish this year? Literally nothing. And they had a great regular season, but it's literally nothing. And the Ravens had one more playoff win than the Dolphins. At the end of the day, expectations got ahead of who they actually were, and they aren't good enough to play in the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson changed his style. It seemed like he was not mentally okay with being in that big situation, and he's 2-4 in the playoffs. And that means something when you look at Mahomes on the other side, who all he does is make AFC Championship games. And you're right, we get the great gift of Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl.
I love it. I made a sweater on the Sports Hangover. If you want to go there and get Taylor Swift's boyfriend sweater for the Super Bowl, it is up on the Sports Hangover right now.
That'll ship before you'll get it for the game.
Oh yeah,
definitely get it.
You'll get it in time.
Your wives, girlfriends, fiancés might like it.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm just excited, and I mean, KC worries me a little bit going into the San Francisco game, but we can talk about that in a minute.
We'll talk about that. I want to mention the script writers, which you've been such a big fan of. We saw the purple logo, and so we were kind of thinking, by the way, we saw the stadium where the game is happening in Vegas. It's going to be a great setting right off the strip. You can walk right over to the game. That's going to be epic on that Sunday in 2 weeks. The logo is like 90% purple, and so we've been talking about the logo so much. We thought the script writers had it as the Ravens. 49ers would make the most sense. I don't know how we're getting the purple in the Super Bowl logo. Is the Super Bowl logo theory dead at this point?
I think so, but how about this? At least one of the team colors are in there, right? So we still got the red, and maybe if we mix it, I don't know if yellow mixes with red, do we make purple? I have no idea, but that could be something. Listen, we were arguing at Italy about the script writers and what was going on, and it just seems all too real. And I think Kansas City, they did it again. And also, this makes sense. It almost feels like Mahomes is now Brady. You don't want to bet against them. You see the stats going into it. They're confident. They know the game plan. And I was never confident in Lamar. And it just, the minute the game starts, you're like, all right, like, I guess you can run around and try this for a little bit, but how long is that going to last? So, yeah, I mean, we'll see next year. I do have odds, after we talk about Lions San Francisco, I do have odds for next Super Bowl winner, which I want to throw out a few. I have a few.
I do want to see the logo first, just to make sure one of the teams is included. I just want to mention, you talk about the script writers. The Chiefs were not thanking the script writers after the game. They weren't making it very clear. But one thing I noticed they all thanked was God. Could God be the actual script writer? Could God be code for the script writer? They were all thanking God, and it just made me think, well, that's who's writing the script. Maybe it all actually makes sense.
God, in quotations, is really Roger Goodell.
Raj.
And they were all way too excited to see Roger Goodell at the end. It's like, do you guys really like Roger Goodell? They're like hugging him. Everybody was excited to see him. Clearly, he knew what he was doing by placing those refs in play, even though Kansas City got a lot of penalties.
Well, that brings me to a question on the Chiefs before we move on to the next game. Can you play a little bullshit or believe?
Bullshit or believe? Bullshit or believe time. Bullshit or believe time. Shit or believe.
All right, Mike. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, they keep getting to the Super Bowl. Now, 4 out of 5 of the last Super Bowls have included the Chiefs as the AFC team. Bullshit or believe, the Chiefs in the Super Bowl every year is a good thing.
I go off the theory that Malcolm Gladwell gives, and having good teams win is good for the sport, and it's good for everybody else. And
What's his theory?
It was in one of his books, and it was just like, you don't want the team that's like up and coming and maybe going to win it. You want like a good team. You want the better team to win. And I thought Kansas City was the better team. I think it's good for the sport. Now, I see all these memes. It's like, no one wants the Super Bowl to happen. No one, blah, blah, blah. All I can imagine is this will be the biggest, most viewed Super Bowl of all time. And it's not because of Usher. It's not because of the game. It's even because of Taylor Swift. And I just think ultimately it's like, you want good teams there. You want a lot. I just imagine, like we were talking about it at dinner in Vegas. It's like the worst Super Bowl matchup we wanted would have been Ravens-Lions. Like, that is not a Super Bowl we wanted to witness. This is a Super Bowl we would like to witness. Now, it could have been, KC 49ers or Lions we've been okay with. But like KC and San Francisco, I think those are huge teams. They're winners. They're winning teams. I mean, this is a repeat of 2020, right? We're going into election year. It's like Biden versus Trump and San Francisco versus KC. I mean, it's just repeating itself. So I think good teams going is a good thing.
I disagree. I think it's bullshit. I think it's too much. And I'm a Mahomes fan. I'm a Kelsey fan. I like to see these guys. And I agree. The Chiefs in the Super Bowl is better. We'll see about that if I get to that point on Super Bowl Sunday at your Taylor Swift party that will have the Super Bowl in the background.
Yes, yeah.
I know the Ravens aren't the better team. I didn't want Lamar in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that. I just think we need to believe that the Chiefs aren't the only team capable in this whole AFC conference full of great quarterbacks that get there every year. Because if you enter every year with the idea that Allen and Burrow and Lamar and Tua and Herbert and the Steelers and all these great, proud franchises and quarterbacks can't make it because Patrick Mahomes exists, and you have to wait 10 years till he retires to make a Super Bowl, like that's not optimistic. That doesn't make me feel good. That doesn't make me excited about next season. And so
I agree.
I think this is fine that they're there now. I think this is the last time I need to see him for any point of time.
So what about when Brady was around? Wasn't Brady just winning all the time, going to Super Bowls? I mean, he went to more Super Bowls than most teams have ever even seen.
And that's why a lot of people don't like Brady. I feel like Mahomes is so much more well-liked. The Chiefs are so much more well-liked than the Patriots. But why? Because you have Taylor Swift in the middle of it all, because you have a laughable tight end who stars on reality shows, and every single commercial during the game features him. It's a little too much on the commercials, but that's a different story. I'm just saying I'm kind of over the Chiefs, and I love the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is great. He'd be in the Hall of Fame. He's like, it's Brady and Mahomes and everyone else in all of history. I get how great they are. It's just too much. And you mentioned Chiefs-Niners. It is a rematch. We just saw this in the Super Bowl. I actually think my prediction is it's not going to be the most watched Super Bowl ever, despite the Taylor Swift effect, because we just saw it. And because I think there's a lot of NFL fans that hate several teams, like 4 to 6 teams.
Sure.
And the Chiefs and Niners are among those teams. They're always great. They have these dynasties. They're always winning conferences. I think they're both like not well-liked teams. And so if there's a casual out there who their team isn't in it and they see Chiefs Niners, they might not tune in.
Listen, the in the thread so far, it seems like there's a lot of Kansas City hate. No one wants them there. I love the stories on both sides. I mean, even Brock Purdy going as Mr. Irrelevant, facing off with Patrick Mahomes, which could go down as the greatest Super Bowl. I mean, the player in history. I love the story, and I think it would have been a little different if Kansas City was better throughout the season. I think it would have been a different story, but they fought back, they grinded their way there, and everybody just expected. I mean, even the beginning of the year, I think we both predicted Ravens 49ers, that's going to be the call. But ultimately, it was Kansas City, and they had a better game plan. And yeah, maybe Tua and whoever, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow looks like the only guy that maybe can do it if he stays healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love it this year, and we'll see what happens next year. But I think it also depends on how you start the season. If you're a little slow to start, I think it's nice that you get the momentum towards the end of the season. And I think also Ravens got a little of that, but most people thought Ravens were the favorite going in, right? I mean, they were the favorite in the game.
Good point about Joe Burrow. He's the only human on earth who has stepped in Patrick Mahomes' way and not allowed him to go to the Super Bowl in the last 5 years. That's incredible. I'm not saying he has to win everyone. He wins most of them. But just to get there, it's just incredible. Let's go to the Niners because there are a lot of similarities. Purdy does feel like Jimmy G last time around when Niners played the Chiefs. Very similar. I think Mahomes is going to carve him up. But I'll say this. I've gone on a lot of rants about Brock Purdy.
Yes.
I was wrong yesterday. They were down 24-7. They needed a guy to come in and lead them to a comeback. And the second half, he made every play he had to make. It was pretty perfect.
It is weird because I was watching it. I'm like, I listen, I love Brock Purdy. Last week, I hated on him. I'm like, I don't want to bet on him. But when you watch it, it's okay, he comes out a little nervous. And I think he doesn't want to be as aggressive as he initially thinks he does. I think he's I can't make mistakes. I can't do this. It almost helps. When they're down a little, it's now I have to be aggressive. I got to run. I mean, I feel like I've never seen Brock Purdy run, and this man's just running all over the field. It's what's going on here? All of a sudden you're running, you're throwing the balls, you're making the plays. There's something in him that's obviously makes him a good quarterback. He's going to the Super Bowl. I do like the fact that he gets that dog in him towards the end, and I don't know what it is that turns him on towards the end of the game where he's I got to fucking win this game. I can't let Jared Goff beat me. But yeah, he looked good towards the end of the game, and Jared Goff, it was a weird game. I feel like it was more coaching for the Lions than anything because there was points missing on the board, which they could have had a field goal or two extra instead of going on 4th and 1. But yeah, it seems like that aggressiveness, the San Francisco, the 49ers kind of played up against. They're they're going to be aggressive. We can just stop them on 1 or 2 4th and 1s. We could win this game. And it seemed like it worked because that's what happened. And that guy Reynolds couldn't catch a ball on both times.
That does appear to be the bigger factor in the game than even Purdy was the Lions giving up points and going forward on 4th down in some questionable places. And I have on my notes here, Dan Campbell, great leader, bad strategy coach. And I feel like I've been telling you that for years. Ever since he was on Hard Knocks, I know he knows how to win over a room. I know how he gets guys to run through a wall for him. He was never going to be the guy to make a great split-second decision on when to use a timeout and when not to. That reared its head late in the game. I couldn't believe they ran the ball with Montgomery at the goal line. They're down 10, but they have 3 timeouts, and the 3 timeouts are golden because you can score anything. You can kick a field goal on 1st down, be down 7 with the 3 timeouts, kick the ball away. When's the last time we saw an onside kick work in the NFL? Was it before COVID?
I don't think it's been a while. I feel like they got to figure out a different way to kick the ball.
They have to. They have to figure that out. And so you have a 0.2% chance that you're going to get the onside. You have to keep your 3 timeouts no matter what. And he runs the ball and calls timeout. That was so stupid. You just kick the field goal there, and then that made me the most mad. The 4th downs, that's in their DNA. They've been doing it all year.
I'll just say you did have a lot of your survivor gambling pool riding on this. You're clearly a little salty.
Well, I'm salty because I didn't think Brock Purdy had it in him to do all that. And now my eyes are open to Brock Purdy. If he wants to beat Patrick Mahomes, that'd be another notch in his belt. I don't think he has to beat Patrick Mahomes to have this greatness about him, the way that he came back and won that game. But like you said, was it more Purdy coming back and single-handedly willing the Niners to victory? Or was it the Lions who literally gave the game away through multiple decisions?
Listen, if Brock Purdy goes in and can beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, we got to give him something. I mean, that man also needs a contract extension and get a little more money. He made $800,000 this year, and Lamar is making $80,000, and just the difference between the two.
It's messed up. People make fun of Brock Purdy when he walks into the stadium in his Levi's and his Kohl's outfit. It's all he can afford. We live in California. If you make that much money, you can't spend much on clothes.
No. Yeah, so that man, he has to get paid after this. Win or lose, he's going to get paid. I think he gets like $1 million bonus or something if he even plays in the Super Bowl.
Which would be bigger than his whole salary.
Yeah, which will be bigger, yeah.
That's cool.
I do have a few futures on Super Bowl for 2025 Super Bowl, so next February.
New Orleans, okay.
I didn't know it was going to be New Orleans. So I know the color of it is going to be some sort of like green and blue, but I don't think I picked out.
Did you say green?
I saw a little green on there. Now it could be the Seahawks, Philly, it could be a lot of those teams.
True. Not the Jets for sure.
Yeah. So these are the few teams that I kind of like, just odd wise, just thinking like, okay, what are some AFC teams? So the few AFC teams I thought of is like Houston. Houston was pretty good last year.
Yeah.
I could see them winning a few of those games. They're 20-1. Miami, 15-1 odds. You guys could be a little better. Get some new offensive coordinators in. You know, feeling good. The Chargers getting hardball. They're 25-1.
I like that.
Kind of like that. Long shot here. But if the Bears decide to go with a new quarterback or just get a better wide receiver with Marvin Harrison or something, they're 30-1. I did like that. Just to throw $50 on it. It could be a big winner. That could be good. I'm trying to see where even are the Seahawks. I don't even think the Seahawks made it in the top.
Based on our earlier conversation, Mike, shouldn't you just sprinkle it around NFC opponents and put some on the Chiefs, knowing that 4 out of 5 years they've been there? 80% hit rate?
Yeah, I guess right now it's 7-1 odds for KC to win next year. You just put it on.
Do that and then sprinkle the NFC. I like your Seahawks. We don't know who their coach is going to be. We don't know who the quarterback's going to be, but there's some green and blue.
Seahawks are 8. Is that 80-1? 80-1 odds for the Seahawks? That's
maybe Rams blue. Could Stafford have one more run with McVay and one more retool?
Rams, 35
Rams, Chiefs, I could see
35-1. I like that. I mean, Minnesota.
Cowboys blue. Is McCarthy going to do it? And is one more chance for Jerry?
No, Cowboys aren't going to do it. I don't even want to put money on it. But yeah, I guess the AFC is tough. It's almost like, do you really want to do that? I mean, you could go division wise too. But yeah, those are just some of the bets I want to throw out there. Do you want to talk a little? I mean, I wanted to talk a little WWE. Maybe I have some bullshit or believe. Let's do some bullshit. I got a little more bullshit or believe.
A little more.
Yeah.
Play it for the second time.
Shit or believe time. Bullshit or believe time. Shit or believe. All right, I have 2 bullshit or believes here. Now, we talked about this, but bullshit or believe, we talked about this not on the podcast. We talked about this in real life. Bullshit or believe, Russell Wilson to the Vegas Raiders.
I know you were hunting down that rumor in person. You were asking all the bookies, all the cab drivers about it. I wasn't getting a warm reception on the question in Vegas. I see him going elsewhere. I think Antonio Pierce, the new head coach of the Raiders, shout out to him. I think he wants a quarterback with experience. I think the Aiden O'Connell thing was tough for them on offense. They want to bring someone in with experience. I don't think it's Russell to a division rival. I think he's going to go east. I've got him in Atlanta. Actually, with Raheem Morris.
But is he getting traded, or if he gets cut, he can go anywhere he wants?
Well, no one will trade for him because then they'd have to take on salary. So likely the Broncos would cut him, and then the Broncos pay the salary. The new team just pays like a league minimum, like Brock Purdy money is all you got to pay him.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Yeah, so I think Russ to Vegas. I really like that one. It makes a lot of sense. I even threw out.
It'll make those Broncos Raiders games super juicy, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, if anybody even cares about Russ in Denver, like, is that a thing?
Well, it's like in those games, the Raiders would be paying to play him, or the Broncos would be paying to play him twice a year. So that'd be weird.
Could we see? I mean, this is a very, very long shot, but I was thinking, new coach in Seattle. You might get some new players over there, some new blood. Would it be wild if Russ went back to Seattle?
That would be wild, and I can't see it happening. You think like after Pete Carroll's gone, they could just turn back to Russ? Like Pete was the problem?
The new coach comes in and like, we just need somebody, a cheap quarterback that can give us that advantage. Do they just go back and try to get Russ?
The heist would look even more incredible because then they got all those assets for him, and they're not paying him, and they get him for like the next 6 years. I kind of love the theory. It feels like such a long shot, but maybe if there's like a call from the Seattle owner to Russ directly, you have to bypass all the other guys who screwed Russ over, I think. Yeah.
Also, I feel like that locker room didn't love Russ that much. He was kind of cheesy, but maybe he changed his tone after Sean Payton kind of whipped him into shape last year. He was pretty quiet on the let's ride.
He did get quiet. Kind of got depressing, right?
Yeah. The let's ride at least like pumped people up a few times.
Became a whisper, yeah.
Last bullshit or believe. Bill Belichick, I know your theory is he will not coach next year. Will Bill Belichick be a head coach for either the Commanders or the Seattle Seahawks this next season?
No, that's bullshit. If you said, is he going to do TV? I think I'd believe, because I'm now on board with the idea that the NFL has passed Belichick by. And unfortunately, he only had one team interested in him. We saw like 9 teams with head coach vacancies. Only one interviewed him. And the one that interviewed him hired Raheem Morris, who was their interim coach 3 years ago. Like, they already know Raheem Morris. And he didn't do that good of a job because they didn't retain him. They let him leave when they brought Arthur Smith in. But apparently, after Arthur Smith, anyone would look good, apparently, with the Falcons situation. I think Belichick sits this year out. I told you my theory. Again, we spent a lot of time together. So off the pod, I told you that the Cowboys and Eagles, 2 teams who are in win now mode, both kept their coaches, both very mysteriously. We don't know why, but McCarthy and Sirianni stay. I think they have super short leashes. And if Belichick is not coaching to start the year and he's on TV or doing whatever, I think he's available mid-season to actually plug him in, which is super rare. Normally, if a team fires a coach, you got to have an interim, you got to wait it out, you got to miss the playoffs and then hire him. I think Belichick could actually coach the Cowboys or coach the Eagles at some point in the middle of the year and try to save their season because the rosters are talented, but the coaching staff seem really bad.
So you're saying Belichick wants to go to a team that he can turn around, coach, win a Super Bowl, and leave. Because he still wants the coach, right? Because he hasn't got the most winningest coach of all time, and I think that must matter to him a little bit. So I imagine he comes back. I think that would be...
The reason I suggest TV is my buddy Mike Tirico was telling me that he actually did a pregame show with Bill Belichick when the Super Bowl was on ABC like 10 or 15 years ago. Belichick was on the pregame, and he said every time Belichick opened his mouth, the entire set would just stop and listen. It was like the guy is just imparting wisdom every time. And so in the way that Nick Saban's probably going to TV, I could see Pete Carroll being great on TV, right? With all that energy. On TV. I think maybe Belichick, maybe all 3 of them end up on TV, not coaching.
I don't see, because I've watched those, like, I think CBS was running promos so much. It was like, what is this promo? Why is there a Bill Belichick and Aaron Hernandez and Tom Brady promo? It was for, what was it for?
That documentary is on Apple TV, right?
Apple, but I thought it was CBS. I was like, what is happening? So many promos today. NASCAR, we're going to that. But that one looked interesting, that Apple TV one. That one looked better than the one that was on Netflix. It seems like we're going to get into a little more details of a lot more stuff because they actually got Tom
the Patriot
and Bill.
Way, which is dead. Like, there's no more Brady. There's no more Belichick. The Patriot Way, no more McDaniels. It's gone.
I know, it's gone. I got a few more things. You want to talk? I mean, briefly, we can touch on WWE. It's going to Netflix. Our boy Thomas doing the Entertainment Arena. He covered it last week on the Breaking News. Listen to that pod. It's on the same feed here, also on our YouTube channel. He broke that news. Netflix going to WWE going to Netflix for $5 billion. I think it's big. I even told you, I'm going to start watching WWE now because it's on Netflix and it's easier for me to watch.
You already had the streaming service that's currently on, so I don't know why that bothers you. You also have cable, you have USA, so you can watch Monday Night Raw. So I don't know why, just because it's on Netflix, you're going to start watching. I guess Netflix makes it cool for you. I think it's a big deal that it's live. It's every week of the year. So they're going to have Raw in the U.S., and then outside the U.S., they're going to have all the premium live events, WrestleMania, the whole network. They're going to have international. Of course, they don't have it domestically until at least 2026, but it could be a turning of the strategy for Netflix to finally start getting into live rights. The NBA is also up. We're watching that this year. Does this mean they're more likely to get the NBA? Maybe less likely if they're spending $5 billion on wrestling. We'll see. By the way, Vince McMahon did not help Netflix out last week with the same week it was announced that Vince had another sexual misconduct allegation.
Yeah, not good. But I think he was no longer part of WWE or TKO or something, but I think he was just there. Definitely not helping out. He's just got to get out of there. And I think for the first time ever, there's no McMahon running WWE. So I wonder if anybody's going to step in.
His daughter's also out? I thought she was in charge for a while.
Well, I think Triple H, her husband, is in charge. So it's like a real life drama outside of the drama.
I think he's the chief creative officer. Is he actually the head of WWE now?
I don't know. I mean,
there's also Nick Khan, who was like the agent who left CAA to join WWE.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who's head. I mean, Stephanie McMahon could step in. It's just crazy that, like, when I was a kid, I was watching all of this stuff, and they're still there doing it. Like in 1997, I was watching this stuff, like WWE Raw and WCW and all that. So it's kind of nostalgic. I am excited for Netflix. I think it'll be cool, especially if they have some like old promos and stuff, and if they can get some rights to like some old fights, it'd be kind of cool. I really
that sounds
like it.
good. We'll see if you tune in. I got something for you.
Yeah.
I was watching some basketball once I got back from Vegas Saturday night. Can we do some NBA news?
Wow, I don't even know if we have that queued up.
Did
NBA
that
news.
make it over?
NBA news.
Got to keep you on your toes over there,
NBA
birthday
news.
boy. It's after January. It's after
Okay.
MLK Day.
Yeah,
we're
we're allowed
talking
to talk
NBA.
about
First of all, Lakers Warriors double overtime thriller on Saturday night. You should have had some money on that in Vegas. The Lakers came out. LeBron won that game.
I'm just going to say, man, how hungover were you Saturday to watch NBA?
It was rough. It was rough getting back. Went to bed early for sure.
Real quick, can I just say, if you ever hang out with us, it did seem like we were nonstop recording a 24-hour sports hangover with me, you, and Josh in the car, our friend Josh, listener of the show. Literally, if you just recorded us for 24 hours, it was spanning from 1997 all the way until present sports. It was a
lot of stories,
stuff. Yeah.
a lot of disagreements.
Yes.
This is how we act in our normal life.
Yeah.
You're not missing anything out there to the listeners. Okay, so NBA, that was a shout out to the Lakers. Doc Rivers, who was just hired to be the lead ESPN announcer, replacing Jeff Gundy, who did 17 NBA finals in a row. We all love Jeff Van Gundy. The reason they brought Doc Rivers in was because they were afraid Van Gundy would leave and get a coaching job, which is crazy because Van Gundy was there 17 straight years.
Yeah.
And now Doc Rivers leaves before his first All-Star game. He didn't make it to February, let alone his first NBA finals. He's out to coach the Bucks, and they left poor Doris Burke in there as the lone analyst. Maybe they're going to move JJ Redick in to that spot, but it's like, ESPN, what are you doing with that booth?
It's weird when, obviously it must be easy to get out of the contract if you just be able to like take another job. But is Doc Rivers that good? Like, I feel like all I know is that Doc Rivers has been on like 5 to 10 teams the last like 15 years of my life. And he's just always on different teams, like Boston Celtics. Oh, he's over here in, wasn't he a Clippers coach for a minute? He was over here doing something else. It's just like, if he's that good, then why is he always leaving and taking new jobs? It just seems like Doc is like the guy that kind of like whip people into shape and then he dips out for a little while.
Interesting question. Maybe it's a golden opportunity because it's the Bucks and Giannis, and they have like a great record, and it's only January 29th, so he only has to coach a few months, not the full season. I don't know, but I just feel like ESPN screwed that up. They did so great with Buck and Aikman on Monday Night Football. It's like they neglected the number one NBA booth, which is also very important. The other thing I saw, Mike, as I'm watching this Lakers game the other night, this is a crazy stat that kind of blew my mind when I was hungover watching. LeBron James has played against 35% of players in NBA history.
Whoa.
In the whole history of the league.
That's crazy.
He's played against 35% of them. He had gray in his beard the other night. He's still going toe-to-toe with Steph in double overtime. The guy, like, I don't think we talk about him enough, how incredible he is. And I know he's, like, the best. And we still don't talk about him enough.
Do we know how much Michael played or Magic Johnson? Like, do we know any of these guys?
Well, Michael quit in his prime to play baseball, so that had to affect him in some way.
That's kind of crazy. I wonder who's like the next person is. Like, is the next person like a 10%?
Like Tim Duncan at 10%, probably.
Yeah, he was there a while. Yeah, he was there.
But like LeBron's longevity, and he's still so good. And like Bronny's coming, I know. Is LeBron going to play a few more years? I've been getting some Lakers nuggets here on the local info, and it seems like he might leave the Lakers after this year because they're not like well positioned to win a championship, and he might need to do that before he leaves.
Well, definitely going to go where Bronny goes, and the Clippers are about to be the big brother instead of the step brother in LA with their new stadium and their
I wouldn't say that.
Jeff Bomber, and I'm excited to see the stadium. So we got to check it out whenever it opens. Next year?
It opens next year. It's over here in Inglewood. We got a West Side Stadium. You got to come west.
It's not. First of all, not West Side. Inglewood is not West Side. You got to pass that 405.
More West Side than all the other stadiums in town.
That's Mid City, Jeremy. Gotta learn the LA landscape here. All right,
we get you out of your East Side.
Real quick, I was reading this article about ESPN and their sports book, and they're saying they got really early success on it. But I was looking, they like broke down all the details. I forgot what, this is like one of the newsletters I get. Barstool had a non-compete, but it was only until the end of the football season. And supposedly and it was going to guarantee, so basically the Penn deal with Barstool was like, if Barstool sold to somebody, they would get 50% of the proceeds, whatever, if they sell it again. But it seems like now is only until the end of the football season. And it seems like Barstool is now in talks to go get a DraftKings sponsorship, or maybe DraftKings buys them out or something like that. But it does seem weird that ESPN is now, I think it's a great partnership, Penn and ESPN. They seem to be making a lot of money. But it does seem like Barstool maybe got the best end of the deal. Dave sells it for $850 million, then buys it back for $1, and maybe could go sell it or strike a huge deal and make $200-300 million from one of these sales. And I just thought, we talk about ESPN, we talk about all these things, but like Dave Portnoy is like doing business shakedowns on people and making a lot of money. And he seems like kind of like a rough guy, whatever, like just like doesn't know what he's doing. But like that deal that he just did with Penn to basically be, there's a clause, once the NFL season's over, I'm going to go sell this thing to somebody else. That was a dumb deal on Penn. And I just thought this is wild that Barstool got this deal. And if they do strike a deal with DraftKings, I just think it's crazy. And I feel like DraftKings is more the vibe of like what they want. They can partner with DraftKings instead of like, we're going to name it Barstool Sports, gambling. I just think Dave Portnoy did a great job, and congrats to him if he actually goes out and makes another couple $100 million.
I think it'll be a massive deal with DraftKings when you think about how big the Barstool bet, like all the content arm and the actual app and the betting of it, how big that got. And you think about the power of Barstool, how they have all these young male viewers younger than us, Mike. We're probably too old for the Barstool demo. And that's exactly who's downloading gambling apps and placing the bets. It's young males, and that's who's watching Barstool content. So I think they're so valuable for that, and their reach among sports bettors is so high. Yeah. Portnoy did a great deal, and he continues to do great deals. They seem to be in deal-making mode. They just did a deal with Rumble for like streaming their certain shows and live events, things like that. I think ESPN Bet is also doing fine. I wouldn't like criticize ESPN Bet.
No, I wasn't
as
criticizing.
part of the story, just because they're just gaining, and they have all these shows now, and on every big pregame show they're doing ESPN Bet lines, and so I appreciate like the power of ESPN, and I'm willing to give that a shot. I think Barstool working with DraftKings also makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I just think there's like gambling is all over the place now. I mean, we were staying at Park MGM. There's slot machines.
There's kiosks. There's sports betting kiosks everywhere.
Crazy. All the odds are right there. Put your money in and you got a ticket. And that's crazy. You don't even have to go to like the sports book anymore. You just go to there. So it's changing a lot, but I do think this would be a huge deal for Barstool and their reach and DraftKings alone. Like, because I think FanDuel has their own like division wing, right? They have something where they like produce TV content with like Shams and somebody else, and like they do all this stuff. And I think DraftKings wants that. And I think they have a little bit like DraftKings TV. And I think even Bill Simmons is doing something on FanDuel.
Yeah, Dan Le Batard's show is on there. I just told you Amazon top exec for sports media, Marie Donahue, well regarded for building ESPN's live college football coverage, just left Amazon to go to DraftKings. And so they will be ramping up
Sounds like we need,
and maybe it's Barstool content.
Maybe you need to reach out, J Dawg, and see if you can get a little intro.
Hello,
Sports Hangover. Yeah, Sports Hangover could use...
We do betting content. Don't you listen on Wednesdays?
That's all I got. I just thought that was interesting. I thought it was great on Barstool and Dave, and just big move. So good
Mike,
for them.
You've been really hot gambling, sports betting all year. You've won a lot of money. Give the people a little rundown. When are you revealing props for Super Bowl? When are you revealing your locked-in picks? Give people something to look forward to so they can make money like you
I think this is what I want to do. Next Monday, me and you will record a show. I think we go over a few of them. Then maybe Wednesday, I'll go with Sam. We'll talk some deeper props. I think just generic props, who's going to win, maybe some over-under, stuff like that on Monday. And then Wednesday, we'll go deeper with Sam. But honestly, like I don't know who to pick right now. I'm torn. I want Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and Mahomes all to win. But I'm worried a little bit. And I can see the speed in San Francisco. But if Kansas City comes out with a good game plan, I do think they could beat them. So I just kind of want to see where the line ends up. Right now, Kansas City is a dog. You're getting even money if you bet on them right now on money line. So
it opened at Niners -2.5. I think it moved to Niners by one in most places. Some people expect it could flip to a pick'em or maybe a Chiefs. A pick'em Super Bowl would be pretty cool, right?
Well, I think the books don't want San Francisco. I think there was a lot of future bets on San Francisco winning the Super Bowl. So the books are probably going to try to lean a little more Kansas City and try to take money on both sides so they don't have a big loss. Because I don't know what San Francisco was coming into the year, but if it was, 20-1 odds and somebody's putting a couple $1,000s on it, they're going to be
When you say you're scared about betting on the Chiefs because the Niners are so good, just something to take into your thought process as everyone's preparing the bets for next week. Think about the Lions running through that Niners defense. Think about Jamison Williams early. Think about Gibbs at times making cuts. They were not tackling well, and that was at home, well rested. I don't think they're going to tackle any better in the Super Bowl in that environment. Then you look at the Chiefs defense, who made Lamar and the speed of the Ravens seem non-existent. Did Odell Beckham play in that game? Did he play all season? Where's that guy been? And it's like they shut down the Ravens in a way the Niners could not shut down the Lions. The Lions beat themselves on some of those decisions and fourth downs. And I think the Chiefs have the better defense. The Chiefs have the better quarterback. Why would the Chiefs not win?
You're right, Jeremy. Well, we'll see. I don't know. I agree. I just don't know. I want to see what comes out. Like, did anybody get injured? See the reports this week.
You got a little Brock Purdy. You might want to bet on Purdy over Mahomes.
I like a little Purdy, but we're rocking right now. We're Team T Swift going the sports hangover. There is.
Love it.
I hope Taylor Swift's boyfriend wins the game. Swag up there. It's great. Great shirt. So, Kansas City colors. Really like it.
Also coming next week, we'll give you tips on how to organize a Super Bowl party to put the Taylor Swift cam in one room and the game on the other. If you have some real football nerds versus Taylor Swift nerds, we'll break that down. We're going to break down NASCAR, Mike. We've never been to something like this. We are going to a legit NASCAR race. We got bombarded with promos on the NFC Championship game last night. Perfect timing.
Hype me up.
Clash at the Coliseum on Sunday. We're going to be down by the start-finish line. If you're watching us on TV on Fox, we'll have a full report on our next pod next week.
I love it. All right, check out the Sports Hangover on YouTube, youtube.com/Sports Hangover. Go to sportshangover.com. All right, J Dawg. See you.